from singing my song. Everybody's got a little place to be tonight. So lock the door, make no mistake. We're hitting your town and coming your way. Gonna raise the dead, gonna raise a little hell tonight. So all aboard, the time of your life. All aboard, you're never gonna stop this one, no right.
Non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden. Welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. On today's show, I am very happy to welcome back, I believe for the third time, for Midnite City and Tigertailz singer Rob Wylde. Rob, how's it going?
How you doing, Tyson? Good to be back on the show.
Yes, thank you, man. It's always a pleasure having you on because we always get into a good rock talk. It seems so. A good hair rock talk, I guess you could call it, right?
We sure do, mate. Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, in terms of today's show, I think we have a really cool one. It's going to be fun. But before we get to that, let's talk about Midnite City. I understand there's a few things happening. One being the vinyl release of Itch You Can't Scratch, which was released last year. On CD and Amazon and Apple Music and all that stuff. Streaming sites. That's what I was looking for. So what's the status on that vinyl currently?
Right. Well. Finally, the vinyl is finished, and we actually had copies arrive. Sorry, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. So there was a major delay on the vinyl. The vinyl initially should have come out when the album came out back in June, but we're hearing from other bands it wasn't just us. There was a massive backlog of pressing plants and stuff like that. But the good news is it is done. We received the albums. We got the album sent to us from the pressing plant to sign the other day, which have now gone back to our record label, and they're going to be going out to people who have pre-ordered copies. The vinyl looks absolutely incredible. It was so worth the wait. Gatefold sleeve, translucent red vinyl or silver vinyl. So you got the two options there. And it was so worth the wait. It was definitely worth the wait. So they're out now, and so long story short, if you pre-ordered one last year, or even at the end of last year, earlier at the start of this year, the actual official release date is March the 4th, but you should have your vinyl copies before then. So I know that our label is going to start shipping them out probably next week. So hopefully people will have them. So they should definitely have them by, on the actual official release date. If you haven't ordered one already, you can still do that if you just go to roulettemedia.uk, which is our record label's website, and you can just order them directly from our label. So so it's a long time coming, but it's been well worth the wait. That's for sure.
That's awesome. It's going to be a surprise for me because I can't remember what color I ordered.
Okay.
So I'll know when I get it.
Yeah, they both look good. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that. I just got an email from the label, or the person, I guess it'd be the person at the label, the other day, stating that they were going to be coming soon. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Christmas because you're like, oh, I ordered that last year. It's not like I forgot about it, but it's just like what's that? Sorry.
It's like a nice surprise, right?
Yeah. I ordered that Slaughter Fear No Evil reissue too last year. I think around the same time, and it still hasn't arrived. They're having pressing issues as well, and it's like this whole box set, right? So
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues with the pressing. You know, I thought it was just us, and then I started speaking to other bands, and it seems to have been like an issue, a global issue. You know, just with everything that's been going on the last couple of years. So it hasn't really been our record label's fault. It's just kind of, you know, there's just been delays on literally everything. So, but yeah, you know, better late than never, as they say. You
exactly.
know?
Yeah, I know the tough reissue was delayed for some time as well.
Right.
Of What Comes Around Goes Around, but it finally came, and it looks awesome too. So,
Good.
You said, they are well worth the wait. Once you get it, and because the tough was gatefold as well, and you open it up, and you're like, oh man, this looks so awesome, and the vinyl looks great, and then you put it on, and you're like, okay, this is worth it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I played mine for the first, because I got a copy myself. So
I figured you did. I was going to ask you that, actually.
Yeah, I got the red vinyl, and I played it for the first time the other day, and it sounded great. So yeah, I'm very happy.
That's good. Now, do I understand that the earlier releases are going to be reissued or re-released at some point?
Yeah. So what we've done, we've got a tour actually, which kicks off this Friday, a UK tour. So we're kicking off in Birmingham on Friday. We got a 6-date tour kicking off, and to kind of tie in with the tour, basically what happened was on the Itch Can't Scratch album, we switched labels. So the first 2 albums came out on AOR Heaven, which is a German label, and then we switched labels to Roulette Media for Itch Can't Scratch. So in the process of that, we gained the rights back to our first 2 albums.
Nice.
And yeah, which is always good.
Yes.
And basically, long story short, I mean, we haven't actually had, obviously you can stream the albums everywhere, but we haven't actually had physical copies of CDs of our first 2 albums for quite a long time, for probably maybe a year and a half, and even when we were going out last year, we managed to tour in August last year, and you know, people were coming up to our merch table and buying t-shirts and continually asking, you know, why don't you have the first 2 albums? And we're like, well, we sold out of them, you know, a year and a half ago. As far as I'm aware, AOR Heaven don't sell them anymore. So the only real place you can get either of those first 2 albums is really on eBay.
Right.
And they're going for like stupid money on eBay. Some of them are anyway. So we thought, well, let's do something about it, especially with the tour, like I said, that we're starting on Friday, and following on from that. I mean, we got a ton of stuff this year. We're going out to Europe and doing tons of festivals, and we're here, there, and everywhere. So we said, look, we've got to reissue these CDs. So we decided, you know, let's just do it ourselves. So yeah, we've reissued both CDs, but both CDs have 2 bonus tracks on each CD. So basically, we've added the Japanese bonus track to the first album, and There Goes the Neighborhood. And then at the end of last year, we went into the studio and recorded 2 brand new songs, and there's a brand new song on each album, just to kind of, like, you know, a little added incentive to people that may already have the albums. You know, it might be worth buying them again. Like I've literally just bought the 45th anniversary of Destroyer.
Did you? I was thinking about buying that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I remember buying it and thinking on my way home, I'm sure I've got this album on about 8 different versions right now, but we kind of, that was the kind of reasoning behind it. I said, well, yeah, by putting 2, especially by putting 2 brand new songs, you know, they're not acoustic songs, they're full on, you know, full studio recorded songs. We're thinking that could kind of, like, you know, not only, because the cool thing is with this album, we've actually had some people I don't know where they've been, but people who've just discovered us on this album, are kind of backtracking and didn't realize that we had 2 albums out before. So hopefully we're going to tap into those people, and then also people that maybe already have been with us from the beginning but might want to rebuy the CDs, for the extra tracks.
Yeah.
And the 2 tracks came out so good that we actually shot a video for a song called Rockin' a Hard Place, which is on the There Goes a Neighborhood reissue, and that video just came out last Friday. So
I'll have to check
like
that
literally like 4 days ago. Yeah, it just search for it on YouTube, Rockin' a Hard Place, and that's the, like I said, that's the new track on There Goes a Neighborhood. And it was kind of like a cool way of us to kind of put out the fact that we've got some reissues out there, and also to kind of promote our upcoming tour and our upcoming shows this year. So initially, in terms of ordering it, because we've had a ton of people get in touch with us initially, we're just selling the CDs at our shows on this upcoming tour, which ends at the end of February. But at the end of February, then we will be
for sale.
They'll be for sale.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So we've had an absolute ton of people from all over the world, because obviously, like I said, we're doing it on our own this time. The reissues. We just ordered enough CDs to kind of get us through the tour, to sell on the tour. But once the tour's done, then we're going to be reordering the CDs, and we're going to be able to ship CDs all over the world. So if you want a copy, best thing to do is just get in touch with us on Facebook or via midnitecity.com, and at the end of February we'll be in touch with you, and then we'll kind of you can put in an order and we'll send them out to you. So yeah, so it's quite exciting, because we've got that coming up, we've got the tour coming up and the vinyl, and we've actually gone from through all the COVID crap, we've not been doing anything, to actually we're really busy again, which is good.
That's good. That's great. And I think the very first time we spoke was during COVID. So we haven't talked before COVID. You know what I mean? Like when things were actually when you were actually out playing and doing gigs and whatnot. So this is exciting for me to hear that you're going to be out playing again. I'm happy to hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, mate. It's been a long time coming. I mean, we were lucky enough last year, when the album came out in June, we did get out and we did a 6-date tour in August of last year, which was kind of like our first time going out playing for kind of like a year and a half or whatever. And then we did a couple of shows at the end of last year, just kind of like one-off shows at the end of last year. But this is kind of like our first time going out again this year. And it's going to be, just looking at the dates now, I mean, we're going to be really busy. We're going, after this tour, we go off to we have Hard Rock Hell Festival out in Ibiza in Spain, and we got a festival in Germany, festival in France, tons of UK stuff. I'm missing a load of things off here, but there's a lot going on this year. So it's going to be great. We kind of make it up for lost time, so it's going to be cool.
That's amazing. So the album, the last album, has done well. Did it do well in Europe then?
Yeah, it's been doing great. I mean, it's been received really well. I mean, the reviews for this album have been phenomenal, to be honest with you. I think probably the best reviews that we've had, and it's been doing great out in Europe as well. So we're really excited to, especially there's a really cool festival that we're doing in September, which is called, I believe it's called Indoor Summer Festival in Germany, and that's a great lineup. There's some big heavyweight names on that one, we're doing other stuff. Like I said, we got a really cool festival out in France as well, and it's been doing great everywhere, and there's talk of us also going back to Japan and also Australia. It won't be this year, but it'll be hopefully next year. I think the plan is to do them kind of together, kind of do Japan then Australia, or vice versa, in kind of like one trip. So that's been mentioned, and that's certainly in the works for 2023. So yeah, it's going to be it kind of, like I said, gone from doing nothing to suddenly being very, very busy. So
that's amazing.
One extreme to the other, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. I think that's the way for a lot of bands right now, right?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. Which is good to see because hopefully people are going to get out and go see live music. I'm sure they are in the same boat as the bands, wanting to get out and seeing people play, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd really hope so. I mean, I do know that there are people, I'm sure it's the same in the States, they're a little bit nervous about coming out to gigs and stuff. And but it's kind of, I think we're going to be dealing with that for a while, with people, maybe not as many people coming out as normally would. But we're just hoping, like you said, I mean, we've pretty much been imprisoned for pretty much 2 years.
2 years of prison.
Yeah, I would imagine most people want to, come out and rock, so that's what we're hoping for, mate.
Yes, exactly. Now, this is a good segue into our next topic, Tigertailz. What is the status with that band currently?
Well, we have. Let me think. We did actually play 2 shows at the end of last year. The band prior to that had been pretty inactive, really, for quite a while. But we did play 2 really awesome festivals. We played the Hard Rock Hell Sleaze Festival in August of last year, which is a really big festival over here in the UK, and we headlined that festival in front of I think it was like 4,000 people. It was great. It was a big stage. What a way to kind of come back and sort of conquer, you know what I mean, after being away for a while. So we did that one. Then we played a similar festival at the end of at the beginning of November of last year. So those are our first 2 shows in about 3 years, I think it is. So we got back to do those 2 last year. And there's a few things coming up this year. We've got another, like I said, Midnite City's out in France, but Tigertailz also have a festival out in France. And I think the plan is to do a couple of shows around it. That's the France festival's in May, and I think there's talk of us doing maybe a show in Belgium and maybe a show in Germany, and then there's also talk of us doing some Italian dates as well, which are in the works at the minute. So hopefully they'll be announced soon. So it's kind of looking like we might be doing some a few things next year. So we in terms of Tigertailz, it's kind of really all just about what Jay Pepper wants to do. It's his baby, it's his band. So he calls the shots. So if he doesn't want to play, then we don't play. But then when he kind of every now and then it's almost like he gets the urge to go out and do some stuff. And obviously we're more than happy to jump on board and go out and play. So hopefully this year we will be doing. We got a little bit of a taste of it at the end of last year, so it's looking like we're going to be doing some stuff this year. So excellent. Yeah, it'll be great.
That's awesome. Now it's funny. I did not realize this. I didn't realize that when you joined the band in 2012, you joined as a guitar player. Then you switched to bass, and then you became the singer. Now, would you ever give up vocal so that you could get the last part of that in and become the drummer?
Well, what's really funny is I almost became the drummer as well.
No way.
So it's a really funny story for you. I mean, I was initially brought into the band through Ace Fincham, who was the original drummer.
Right. Yeah.
And Ace left after the first tour that I did with him. He kind of went off and he wasn't happy, so he left the band. But it was through Ace that I got in the band. So I'm still friends with Ace and stuff. I speak to him quite a bit on Facebook and stuff like that. But long story short, I joined, like you say, back in 2012 as like a rhythm guitar player, and we were. I can't remember where we were going. I think it was Italy. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Italy. But we were all kind of at the airport. We're all as usual in the bar, before the
Nice,
waiting
yeah.
to board the plane.
Of course.
We'd all had a few drinks, and then we all get on the plane, and I was walking with Ace, and I don't know what had happened, but between the bar and the gate to get on the plane, he'd lost his passport.
Oh no.
And obviously the stewardess wouldn't let him on the plane without his passport, and he was freaking out because he had no idea where it was, and we were all already late because we'd been drinking in the bar.
Yeah.
So I think we'd had like the last call, for borders, for passengers, blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
we were look, we got to get on the plane. So we were all sat on the plane. Ace ran back to the bar to try and find his passport. And this is a true story. So we're at this point. There's no sign of Ace, and they shut the actual door of the airplane.
No.
So the band's, the four guys are on the plane with our two roadies, two road crew guys, and Jay, and we're all just like, well, what the hell are we going to do? We're literally going to fly to Italy and land, and we're not going to be able to play because there's no drummer. We don't have a drummer. So I just kind of like leaned over to our road, because I was new in the band. I didn't really know the guys that well at this point, but I kind of tapped the roadie, Jay's guitar tech, and said, "Oh, well, I actually play drums, so we could probably still do the gig." So almost like this sense of calm went around the plane, and then unbelievably, the pilot made this announcement, which I don't think it's ever happened ever in my life, but he said the plane was going to be delayed because they needed to put a new tire on, on the plane, and in that time, the half an hour that it took, that enabled Ace to miraculously find his passport, and he was allowed back on the plane.
Where was it?
And that's like, and all the time. So he came down. So he comes down the aisle of the plane, all flustered, and he sits down next to me. And I'm like, where the hell was it? And he was like, dude, it was in my jacket all the time.
Oh my God! Really?
And it had slipped down into like the lining of his leather jacket. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it was really only due to the fact that, when does that ever happen, But if it hadn't been the fact that, a new tire needed fitting on the plane, we would have took off, and I would definitely have played drums for Tigertailz for those gigs.
And you would have done it all, eh? That's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly, mate. Yeah.
Oh, I sounded Canadian.
Gone on his true story as well. It's quite funny, but it would have been quite amusing.
That is funny. So I just recently picked up the vinyl of Young and Crazy. There's a guy that I buy vinyl from here who's about 2 hours away, but he always gets awesome stuff. I don't know where he gets it from, but I don't ask that question. So this album's kind of like one of those cult status releases. It's hard to find in North America. And in terms of covers, this one it's that definitive 80s cover. And it's cool because when you look at it, because it's a mirror, right? They're sitting on mirrors, I guess it looks like. And then if you flip it over, you get the reverse shot of them looking down on the mirror, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting cover. And then the animation picture on the inside, it's a total awesome looking 80s album. And it's funny because with Tigertailz, and I might have told you this before, in Canada, we got nothing. I think I saw maybe a guitar ad that Jay and Pepsi had done for a guitar company maybe or something like that. And I was like, who the hell's this band? They look really cool because it was, the days of Poison. This was like 86, 87, I would say. What year did that album come out? 87?
Yeah, 87, yeah.
87. So it was around that time. And it eluded me for years until eBay came along and I was actually able to find the CDs on eBay. So that was early 2000s until I had actually ever gotten to hear Tigertailz, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So this thing is, I was really, because I have the CD, but I was really pumped to get this and put it on and I was like, this is so cool. It's just one of those really, do you have this on vinyl?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had it on vinyl when I was like a teenager. Yeah, I had the kind of like the original. Obviously not. Well, I mean, I was, I'm obviously not as old as the other guys.
Yeah.
But I was like in '87. I was like 10 years old. So
I was 12.
I think I got. Yeah, I think I got Young and Crazy when I was probably about 13. I think. But yeah, I do have it on vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Was it hard to find in Europe?
No. Europe, it was. I mean, the thing with Tigertailz was that I mean, in the UK, they were a big band. They
Right.
were a big band. Not so much on the Young and Crazy album. It was more on the Berserk album. Yeah. So Young and Crazy they were kind of like almost like this cult glam band, really, that kind of at the time they I think that if I remember rightly, how they got signed was I think they sold it was something like that. I think they sold out the Marquee in London like 3 nights in a row without a record deal.
Wow.
So they had no record deal. So instantly, that I think that was how they got signed, and they had a big feature in Kerrang magazine. And you're right. It was a time of Poison.
Yeah.
Was big, and they looked exactly like Poison. So it was kind of like the UK's. Even though I know, Jay Pepper absolutely hates Poison, and he's not a fan of that. But whether he does or not, that is how that band was viewed, by people. And
that's how I viewed it.
That's how I viewed it. It was like, oh my God, this is like especially on that album, that is totally how they were marketed. I mean, if you look at that album cover, that is like a variation of it,
And it's funny because I picked up, so I went through my Tigertailz CDs today too. So that's the only one I actually have on vinyl. A buddy of mine, the guy I buy those from, has Berserk on vinyl. I've never seen that. And I looked on Discogs and I was like, you know what? It's actually reasonably priced, and I may eventually pick it up because I'd be curious to hear. Do you have that one on vinyl?
Yeah, I do. That's a gatefold sleeve as well. That's
really?
the packaging on that is great. When you open up that album, the actual picture of the guys in the middle of that vinyl is just like the coolest picture, And I remember getting that again, because I got Berserk first, which came out in 1990, and then kind of realized that okay, they had this album prior to that, which was Young and Crazy, but just opening up that Berserk gatefold sleeve, and just when you see the picture, you'll get what I mean. It's just one of those huge pictures that just kind of, especially as an impressionable kind of teenager, just grabs you, almost like looking at Kiss or whoever it is. You just like, whoa, who are these guys? You know what I mean? And that was the bigness of the impact that you get, from them. And yeah, they were great, and they still are. I'm a little bit biased, but as a teenager, I mean, I absolutely thought they were the coolest. I thought they were such a great band.
I mean, I'm excited to get that vinyl because even that picture on the front is so captivating. It's such a great photo on the front of Berserk. It's just a great album cover, right? And I would assume that is Kim Hooker on the cover. I think that's Kim, and apparently, and of course, this was the days before Photoshop and all the rest of it. So that's a real picture of him, and he's wearing like red contact lenses. Yeah, I know, it's cool.
Yeah, so it's not obviously, it's not photoshopped or anything. That's like a real picture, So
and that's what makes it interesting about vinyl. You look at that, and the vinyl makes that the bigger picture, right? On the vinyl. And then that gatefold, like you mentioned. I mean, the packaging, the photos even on the inside of the CD are really well done. So the gatefold, would that be that full band photo? That's where they're kind of in they're kind of like in a sort of like a warehouse sort of. Yeah. So that's a gatefold. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So you open that up, and if you see that picture vinyl size, that picture really pops.
That is cool. That's very cool. That's awesome. I will have to. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to buy it. Now getting back to the original lineup and the original band. Now there was a CD which I have also called Original Sin, which is, I believe, is the original demos.
Yeah, that was always a bit of a mystery because I don't think Jay was very happy about that. It's all kind of shrouded in mystery as to where that CD actually comes from.
Really?
So I don't want to say anything because I'm not sure. You know, there's rumors that it might have come from certain ex-band members. I don't know. But it is, as far as I'm aware, it's the original demos from the Young and Crazy album. Because I believe, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the album was recorded twice.
Yes, I believe that too.
Yeah, and I think the Original Sin CD is the original. They're the original recordings, and apparently the Young and Crazy album was then just completely re-recorded for a second time, which is the album that officially got released. So yeah, where that actually came from, I don't know. That kind of surfaced sort of a while ago. It's probably maybe like 10 years ago or something.
It's it's dated 2004, I believe, actually.
Oh, right. So yeah, quite a while ago. Yeah,
it's on Majestic Rock.
Right, yeah, which is a label I'd never heard of. So, I mean, somebody clearly had the original files and stuff, and I know Jay's mentioned it before, and so it's definitely not come from Jay. So it's come from somewhere. Somebody's got those original files, and and somehow made some sort of deal with whatever label it's come out on. I mean, Stevie James writes the liner notes, so I would assume that's where it has come from. Right. Well, that would make sense. Makes total sense. Huh. That's an interesting one. Now, in terms of performing songs live with the band, how does Jay go about picking a set list? Is it a majority of the Berserk material? Does he kind of mix it up? It's kind of the majority of the set list is Berserk, because that was the album that was really big in the UK. I mean, that was a top 40 album in the UK, which is sort of unheard of, really, for a rock band, especially for an English rock band. A band from the UK, right? A top 40 album. That's pretty cool. So I would say, I mean, when we go out and play, we probably play. I mean, just for example, on the last two shows that we played last year, we play 8 songs from Berserk. So it's pretty much the entire album. Apart, in fact, you know what? I think it's every single song apart from Action City. Right. For some reason, we don't play that one. But apart from that, so we play the entire Berserk album. We usually play about 4 songs from Young and Crazy. And then we'll play a few of the newer songs. All the Girls in the World always gets in the set list, which is great, because I wrote that song for the Blast album. Yeah. That's the only one that tends to make it off the Blast album. And then we do a couple of the heavier songs from the Wasbones album. Oh, really? You do something off Wasbones? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think I was never really into that album myself, so I do have a copy of that on vinyl. Oh, you do? Was, wow. Yeah, that one was actually that was kind of weird, because that was reissued. Yeah. I think it was an Italian label, because we were out in Italy. And I think it was like 2016 or something like that. We did a little Italian tour, and the guy from, I can't remember which label it was, but he actually came to one of our shows with the vinyl. So we all got a copy of Wasbones. So I presume it's some Italian label that put that out. Now, which version of Wasbones? Is it the one with the second lineup, or is it the one with... you know what? I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not 100% sure. I think the original one was in a vault somewhere. They always call it the vault.
And then on Thrill Pistol, they released it as a bonus CD on Thrill Pistol, and which I have. And then I have a copy of the Wazbones album. The band, did they change the name to Wazbones at that time?
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of like, to be honest, as a fan, I kind of checked out at that point because I wasn't really, it's not saying anything bad about it, but that's just not my thing, and it's kind of, when they went really heavy and they did a complete 360 and it wasn't what I was into. So I kind of, as far as I'm aware, they changed the name, and I probably around that time was kind of like when I sort of lost interest in the band a little bit, if I'm honest.
And it's a weird one, because then on Berserk 2.0 they recorded a bunch of those songs again. So there's technically like 3 different versions of those songs out there, of some of those songs. You know what I mean? It's such a weird thing. I'm not sure which version it is that the vinyl copy that I have, but I know that it was definitely kind of reissued again about 2016. Okay. And I think we definitely played Dirty Needles off, which I think is a Wazbones song. It is. It's the second song.
Yeah, so we definitely played that in the set, and Tear Your Heart Out, I think, is that. I think
that's a great song. I actually love that song.
Yeah, so we do those two. We do those 2 songs off Wazbones as well. So, but yeah, it's sort of, for the most part. Occasionally we'll drop the odd song in, but for the most part, that's pretty much our set.
Wow. Well, I have the Wazbones CD. I believe it's on Mercury from Japan, but there's no OBI strip on it, but it's still cool. I think I got it on eBay. And I was like, because I had never heard the album when I bought it, and I got it, and I was like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting. So
cool.
Yeah. So that's one of those. It's almost like one of those holy grail finds as well, because at that time when I got it, it was probably mid 2000s, and it was hard to find. So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
So it was cool. Now, another interesting one is Bonsai, which is more or less a collection of B-sides and re-recorded songs and whatnot. Understand? Yeah, and I was like, when I first got this, I was like, they're doing Creeping Death and Peace Sells. I was like, wow. That was interesting. I'm like, okay. But I guess it shows a little bit of their versatility, and they like getting heavy. Well, they were, like I said, they were mainly B-sides, because I know Creeping Death and Peace Sells were on the they released song Heaven, which is off the Berserk album, as a single in 90. Well, the album came out in 1990. I think Heaven, the single, came out in 91, and it was those 2 songs were on the 12-inch EP that they put out. So it was Heaven, and I think it was maybe a live track, and then on the second side was the 2 Metallica and Megadeth covers. And I remember buying it and thinking, what the hell is going on here? But I mean, they did a great job of both songs. They did a great job. I agree. And and I think I prefer Kim Hooker's version of Living Without You. I don't know. It's maybe I like that lineup better than the first one. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's kind of. I was always. I much preferred the kind of Stevie period in general. Even though, I mean, the Berserk. I mean, that album's great. I mean, it's such a. Even now, it still sounds awesome, and the songs are awesome. The first album's a lot kind of it's trashier
and it's raw,
and it's raw, and it's because there was about in comparison to the amount of money that they had to spend on Berserk. I mean, they recorded Young and Crazy on nothing, but I just preferred that kind of young and crazy sound, really. So I'm always every time we're coming up with a set list for the shows, I'm always trying to get some more young and crazy songs into the set.
I you know what, I've never asked you that question, what your preference was, because I never thought to ask that, because But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have to play them back to back and decide, because I do really like Young and Crazy. I just like the feel of it, the rawness of it. But I like Berserk a lot as well. So to me, it's like two different bands almost.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it, to me, that's what it was, because I was introduced to the band on Berserk and bought that album first, and then kind of started hearing about the fact that this band used to, also had an album prior to this with a different singer.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a completely different sound, which to me, even though, you look back on that first album and all the songs are written by, Jay Pepper and Stevie James, I think Stevie had quite a lot to do with that album because of just how different Berserk sounds without him, And obviously when it got to Berserk and you look at the songwriting credits on Berserk, it's credited 4 ways. So I think everybody was a lot more involved. But I think for that kind of Young and Crazy sound and that style, I think Stevie was quite a big part of how that album came out, Wow.
I actually had talked to Stevie recently, about 6 months ago, about coming on the show and talking about Young and Crazy. And then somehow I didn't get back to him, and then he didn't respond back to me. So sorry, Stevie, I apologize. I got busy. But I would have loved to pick his brain about that album and to talk about it, right? Would have been cool.
It was great. I mean, I actually I played in Stevie's band for a very short time back in 2009. I don't know whether you're aware with that. He put out a solo album.
Private Hell?
That's the one. Yeah.
That was a great album.
Yeah,
it really was. Good. It was a great album. Yes.
And I was, it was kind of a weird thing. I was kind of, at the time I was, it was around the time when I was living in America. I lived out in the States for 3 years, but I was sort of, I was back in the UK for I think I had to come back to the UK for something, and I had to kind of wait in the UK to get my visa to go back to. So I was back in the UK for about 6 months, and in that time, I don't know, I can't remember how it came about, but we ended up doing. He had a band that we didn't do a lot of shows, but I remember I definitely remember going to. We did a few shows in Scandinavia. And I played rhythm guitar for him in that band. So we were playing those songs, the Private Hell songs, because it was his Private Hell. It was the year that album came out. So I was in his band for a while, and I loved it, because I was a big fan of his. I thought Stevie was great, So it was cool. It was a good time.
That's awesome. I was not aware of that. I don't think we ever talked about that. That's cool, though. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because I really did like that album a lot. I'm going to have to listen to it again, because I haven't listened to it in quite a long time. But from what I recollect, it was an awesome album.
Yeah, I mean, it was at the time, it was one of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
And it was just such a good, every single song on that album was great. And
it sounded good, too, if I recall.
It did, yeah. It was Chris Laney produced the album.
That explains it. He's so good.
I think he co-wrote all the songs, and Anders Ringman as well. So it was kind of like a good songwriting team with Stevie, and it was So doing those shows, I think we only did like it was maybe 2 or 3 shows or whatever. But it was fun. It was good hanging out with him, and like we're talking, it was good getting all the stories from him about what happened back in the day.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. I have done this before. A buddy of mine came, local musician, singer named Chad Valier. He's got a band called Valier. They play locally, and they've got an album deal and everything. And we had a discussion about replacement singers, and it was a lot of fun. So I thought, you know what, you and I should talk about replacement singers, because if anyone's going to know about all these bands, it's going to be you, and it might be me. So,
right.
So, because I posted this album the other night, we can start with Brittany Fox. I know that Boys in Heat is your favorite by the band. Now, did you think the album with Tommy Paris was good, or did you totally gravitate elsewhere, possibly to Dean Davidson's new band, Black Eyed Susan?
No, I actually thought the third album was really good, and I thought Tommy Paris was great. I thought the album, I remember buying the album at the time thinking, this is really cool. I loved the sound of that album. I thought it was great. I didn't think the songs were quite as good as The Boys in Heat. And the first album, we were laughing about the first album the other day. I know. I love the first album. I just can't stand that ballad. But apart from that,
You said that in that ballad. You are right. I like the double vocal on it. I like when he goes high and he's singing a low, but it's so cheesy. The lyrics are just, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, and I thought they got it really. They got it bang on on the Boys in Heat album. I thought, the production on that album's great. Like Neil Kernan produced that album, good sounding album, some really good songs on that album, and then obviously Dean. I was never sure whether he left or whether he was fired. I think he left.
I think he left. I don't know. My understanding was he was already recording the Black Eyed Susan album while he was still in Brittany Fox.
Yeah, which I remember buying that back in the day, but I wasn't overly impressed by the Black Eyed Susan thing.
I like it now more than I did then. When I first got it, I was like, what is this? I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get this. What is he doing? Like, Brittany Fox, I loved because I really loved the first album, and I do love Boys in Heat. I find it funny. My beef with Boys in Heat is that you've got, so the original single was Long Way to Love, and then on Boys in Heat they have a song called Long Way Home, and then on the second side there's a song called Long Road. So right. I was always like, I'm surprised the label allowed him to do that. Like, this is a little bit too close. So that was one of the things that bothered me about that album.
I never thought about that. And it's kind of, you're right, because I always do when I'm, writing songs, I always, even if, certain songs, I will actually change the title of a song because, right. I can't have two songs on an album with the word night in them or whatever, or to me it's like you bang on. I'd never thought about that before. So
and it was and to put Long Way in two songs, I was like, no one else has picked up on this. This is really weird to me. You know what I mean? But I love side one of that album. Side two, I don't love as much. I find that a lot of it sounds the same. Yeah. But it's still great. I would never say it's a horrible album because it is a great album. It's just there was those small little things on there. But I remember buying the single for Dream On when it came out. I had the cassette single, and I just loved that song. I thought it was a great song at that time. But again, I was 14 years old too, so.
But it is a good song. I think I saw an interview with Michael Kelly Smith a while ago, and he did some kind of random. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but I think he did like a random Zoom interview, and he was saying that because the first album went gold, and the record label were saying, this album's going to do it. You're going to get a platinum album easy, and apparently they were all lined up to do the Kiss Hot in the Shade tour. Oh, and
didn't they get dumped?
Yeah,
for Slaughter.
Dumped. That's right. Yeah. So wow. And he was saying, if they'd have got the Kiss tour, then obviously that probably would have, But in the end, I don't think Boys in Heat went gold. I think it was.
I don't think it did. It was
a bit of a flop. Yeah.
It was really funny because I was on my Facebook stuff the other day. I was kind of alluding to the fact that at the end of 1989, just this slew of albums came out. Like you had the Brittany Fox album, Michael Monroe had come out. I know you're not a big fan of him, but that album was out. Alice Cooper, Trash, Steve Stevens, Atomic Playboys. I think Kiss Hot in the Shade came out in the fall. There's like this whole slew of albums And
Danger, Warrant.
I just think there was too much, you know what I mean? And people just couldn't buy everything.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember rightly, I think they came over to the UK actually on the boys, and they opened up for Alice Cooper on his Trash tour in the UK.
Right, that'd be cool.
If I remember, it was Alice Cooper, Great White, and Britney Fox.
That's a good.
But I was sort of a little bit too young to go to that.
Right.
I was like 12 years old, so it was a little bit. But yeah, back to your question. Yeah, I thought Tommy Paris did a great job of replacing him. And he had a similar kind of voice. He probably sang those songs a little bit better, because after a while, kind of Dean Davidson's voice would kind of grind on you a little bit, so.
I remember seeing the first review I ever read about Britney Fox on the first album, and they kind of compared him to Udo Dirk Schneider with razor blades in his mouth or something like that along those lines.
That makes sense.
I was like, I don't know if I want to hear this. And then finally I saw the video for Girls School, and I was like, okay, I like these guys. These guys rock. But it was so funny. But I like Tommy Paris. I think there's some good songs on that album. What's the Look My Way, which I thought was a great ballad. I thought that was a great song. Louder, the first video, was a great song.
Yeah, Louder was great.
And Midnight Moses, I thought, which was a cover by the sensational Alex Harvey band, I believe. And I thought that was a great song. There's a few others that I really thought were really good on it too. I thought, they changed labels. They went to Atlantic, a subsidiary of Atlantic East West, I think it was. And it's amazing that I guess Columbia must have dropped them after Dean Davidson left. And right, and then so they had to start all over again with a new singer and get a label, which.
Yeah, and they were struggling. It was that time of when everything was kind of winding down, so it was kind of, it wasn't the best time to be Britney Fox, I guess.
No, I don't think so. And when I got it, I was excited. I'm like, okay, new singer, what's this going to be like? Really dug it. Thought it was a little bit heavier. Liked what they were doing. So, I still listen to it quite a bit. I think I still listen to all three of them. I like all three of them anyway, so they're kind of on heavy rotation for me. So, yeah, they were a good band. Unfortunately, the Cinderella comparison was there too, right? Because obviously Michael Kelly Smith, coming from Cinderella, and the original drummer who passed away were both in Cinderella and got let go, which is a wild story too, right? They got let go. The label didn't like them, apparently, and they'd been in the band for like 3 or 4 years, right?
That's right, yeah. And it's weird because I actually, out of those two bands, I prefer Britney Fox out of those two bands. They were kind of like always, I guess in a way, kind of marketed as
a Cinderella type of thing.
Yeah, because Cinderella by that point had took off and sold a few million albums, so it's like, okay, well, this is like the new Cinderella coming through, as I suppose, Warrant was the new Poison at the time.
That's right. This is Columbia's version of Warrant and Columbia's version of Cinderella.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny because you mentioned about Cinderella. I prefer listening to Britney Fox now. You know what I mean? And you're right. I'm kind of like, I think probably because I listened to so much Cinderella when I was young, that I'm like, you know what? I'd rather listen to Britney Fox now. It's kind of one of those weird things.
Yeah, I agree. Better songs.
Yeah, I agree with you too. Now, it's funny because talking about that Britney Fox album, the same day that I bought Bite Down Hard, I bought this album, which is Danger, Danger, Screw It, which I know is one of your favorites. Were you cool with Paul Lane as the band's new singer after Ted Poley?
You know what? I really wasn't into Paul Lane at all. it was a strange thing because, you know, like we talked on the last show. I mean, Screw It is one of my favorite albums of all time.
I love it.
And it was I just loved everything about those first two albums. You know, they to me, they were kind of like the ultimate hair metal band. You know, they had if you kind of were to write a list of what a hair metal band is, they ticked every single box. Yeah. So true. You know, obviously Ted was gone, and then I think what really caught me off guard was the fact that at the time, I remember seeing in Metal Edge magazine, there was these pictures of Paul Lane, Steve West, and Bruno Rell. And Steve West had cut his hair.
Oh, yes. This is the Dawn era, right?
Right.
Yes.
And they've all got beards.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell is going on to my favorite band, you know? And I'm just kind of, who are these guys? You know, what is going on? And then, you know, they've got a new album coming out called Dawn. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound very much like Danger Danger.
No.
And then he started talking about some of the song titles.
Helicopter.
And I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't sound good. And then I remember going to the record store to buy the CD and picking up the front cover. I'm like, this doesn't look good. So it was all just everything. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Finally put the CD on. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, and it was just so, and it wasn't Paul Lane's fault because they had purposely obviously decided, hey, let's jump on the bandwagon and go grunge like everybody else.
It's you know, I think the whole situation with what happened with Ted and Cockroach being ready and then re-recording Cockroach with Paul Lane and then a lawsuit from Ted Poley and they couldn't release it and they were just like, you know what, screw it, we're going to do this. No pun intended on that, but...
Yeah, and they're just so pissed off with everything, and you can hear that on the album. So I was aware of Paul Lane before that, you know, because
sticking in your ear.
A friend of mine, you know, turned me onto that album probably about maybe about 92, 93.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you got to check this album. And it was great because, he just sounds kind of like John Bon Jovi. Yeah. You know, he's got that kind of gruffness to his voice. And that album was great. And then I got around probably about 94. I got a bootleg copy of Cockroach.
Oh, wow.
Which was obviously not, I know they eventually released both versions, and I think it was like 2001 or something like that. Yeah. They released, it was like a double pack CD with Ted's version and Paul's version. But I actually had a copy of that.
Wow.
So I heard all the songs. I love the songs, but I just like, I just, to me, it just didn't really work with Paul singing. I don't know why. I mean, Paul's obviously around doing the Defiance now, and he's an incredible singer. You know, he's probably in terms of singing wise, he's probably a much better singer than Ted. But it's just to me, it just doesn't sound right with anybody doing. It's kind of like anybody singing Motley, but Vince. You know, it's just kind of
I think. I mean, talking about that Motley thing, I think Nikki Sixx does not like to talk about it. And anytime he's usually asked a question about it,
right?
You can kind of tell that he's just like, he wants to move on to the next question because he knows himself that wasn't Motley Crue. You know what I mean? As great as the album might be, he knows that wasn't Motley Crue. Motley Crue will always be those four guys.
You have a lot of bands like that, yeah.
And I think he regrets it. Yeah, I think he regrets the fact that they didn't change the name. I think had they changed the name, then it might have been different. But I guess when you have a big label like Elektra,
I don't think that they would have got away with that, would they? Really?
No, and it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But getting back to so that Cockroach copy you had was primarily the Paul one, then the Paul Lane version.
Yeah, I had both. I had both. So I had.
Oh, you did have both.
Yeah,
okay.
So I had Ted's, and which I used to play. It wasn't the best. There wasn't the best copy. in
Right.
terms of the sound quality. But I nevertheless I played the Ted version to death, and I love the songs on there. But then I also had a cassette of the Paul version, and it was just like
Right.
it doesn't really work the same, you know.
Yeah, see, it's funny to me because there's certain songs that I think Paul did great on that album, and I think there's other songs that more suited Ted, like Sick Little, what is
Twisted
it? Sick
Mind.
Little Dirty Mind.
Yeah.
Twisted Mind. Yeah, I always thought that song was heavy enough that it fit Paul a little bit better than Ted. And then Don't Break My Heart Again.
Yeah.
I thought that I liked Paul's version better of that. But what was the other ballad?
Afraid of Love.
Jeez. Afraid of Love, which is an amazing song. I thought that if that had come out with Ted as the vocalist, that would have been a massive hit.
Yeah.
You know, like, and there, it was just funny that there were certain songs that I liked Ted singing and certain ones I liked Paul singing. I think it's just all a matter of taste, right?
Yeah, I think Paul definitely suited the heavier songs, and Ted probably suited the more melodic, poppy songs, you know.
And that was what made Ted great, though, because he did have that. He's got that sound, right, to his voice, that nice, melodic sound.
It's a really nice, sweet sounding voice, and that's what he had. That was kind of, you know, at times, you know, it was kind of almost like it. I always use it. There's occasions when, not all the time, every now and then he would have be a little bit of Steve Perry in his voice here and there,
right,
and a little bit of the guy from Survivor in there. So it just had that popness to his voice, which was really would really lend itself to like commercial, you know, poppy songs and especially ballads. You know, those like kind of sweet, nice sounding ballads. You know. Whereas,
or that intro on Under the Gun, like the intro to Under the Gun off the first album.
Exactly, yeah.
When I hear him sing that, I'm like, wow, man, that's so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, is it possible that anyone could ever replace Sebastian Bach in Skid Row?
Oof, that's a good question.
I mean, there's been a few, but people just don't want them, honestly.
No.
You know, they want to see Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, you're dead right. I mean, he was just. I mean, I think back then, you know, on those two. I mean, I don't count the third album because again, that was, I don't know what the hell that was, the grunge album.
Yeah, I agree.
But those first two albums, I mean, he was the ultimate. You know, the rock singer superstar. I mean, he had everything. I mean, he had everything to be, you know. And they had everything to be the biggest band in the world, you know, and they sort of imploded, you know, when they were really on the point of becoming almost like kind of like Guns N' Roses big, you know. I mean, they more or less say they're the last hair band. Yeah. The last real big hair band. They were really, and I think I mean, those two albums it's such good albums, and like you said, I don't think anybody could really touch Sebastian. And nobody could really sing like him. I mean, if you look at even in the 80s, nobody could really sing like him.
No, the tone and the just the pure power that he had.
Yeah.
I mean, he was unreal, and he came with that attitude too, right?
Yeah, that kind of punk rock attitude. He could sing. Yeah,
I know he could sing like the greatest ballad, like I Remember You, and just put his whole heart into it, and then he could sing a song like Piece of Me, and be pissed off and project it like he was pissed off. You know what I mean? Like he just had that way, or like Riot Act or something like that, where it's, you know, it's got that punk vibe to it, and he could portray that really well. Yeah,
he was just kind of like untouchable really back then. You know, I don't think any singer from that era got anywhere close to Sebastian really, and like you said, ever since, I mean, they've. I mean, how do you replace somebody like he? You know, you just don't. You know, and they've gone through a few singers, and you know, they all kind of muddle their way through the songs. You know, I've been to see Skid Row with all of, you know, I don't know, was it 2 or 3. Probably been about 3 singles.
Well, Johnny
I think.
Solinger. Yeah, Johnny Solinger, Tony Hurnell,
Yeah.
and now ZT Threat.
Yeah, so I've seen him with the new guy, and I've seen him several times with Johnny Solinger before. Obviously, he died, and it's kind of they get through it and they sing the songs okay, but it's not the same. It just is not the same, and I don't think they will ever be able to replace. You just can't. There's certain people you just can't replace. Simple as that.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys, and it's so unfortunate because I have seen the band with Solinger. I saw them twice. I saw them twice with ZT Threat, and the energy is there from the songs. You know what I mean? It's still there. The band still got lots of energy, but it's like, okay, this is really good. But imagine if Sebastian were here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you just know. I mean, I saw Skid Row with Sebastian in 1991 with GNR.
Wow.
And man, it was like Slave to the Grind had just come out, or it was just coming out. I think it had just come out. Monkey Business was huge on the radio at the time, and man, like to see those two bands at the height of their career.
Yeah.
It was special. It was unreal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And Izzy was still in GNR too. Izzy was still with Guns N' Roses. Sorum was playing drums, but Izzy was still there, and then he was gone within 3 months, I guess.
Right.
I know all the fans want it, and Sebastian wants it, and I think the problem is he keeps wanting it so bad that that they just won't do it. I don't know. I guess there's been negotiations, and
I think he's just a nightmare to deal with. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think, and when you see him in interviews, you can see that.
Yeah,
you can see,
know, and it's so unfortunate. It's like, buddy, like you could make this happen.
Yeah, just calm down. You don't have to be, up to 10, 24 hours a day, just save it for the stage, chill out, and everything will be fine,
Exactly. Do it for the fans.
Yeah, like, I'd love to see
I hate to say it, but
I would pay,
yeah, it's like, come on, man, just keep your mouth shut for the fans.
Right.
I hate to say that. If he ever heard this, he might want to kill us.
Yeah, well, it's true, though. That's what I mean, and that is the one thing that's stopping it, because if he was a guy that was easy to deal with, there is no way that Rachel and Snake would turn down the money that they will probably get to do a full-blown original lineup reunion tour. It's just because they don't want to deal with him. It's as simple as that,
Yeah. It's like, I mean, and this is on a way smaller scale, but in Toronto, there is a lot of us that would love to see a Slick Toxic reunion, because they were like a big band here in Toronto at one time. And it would be amazing to see that. But it's just one of those things that I don't think is ever going to happen, unfortunately. But I think on a Toronto level, like if they played here, they would probably sell out like a smaller venue, not like the ACC, but a bigger, like one of those in-between venues. I think they would do very well.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be amazing to see. So you are familiar with Slick Toxic,
of course, right? Of course. Yeah, I love that band.
I figured you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were amazing. What about Sven Gali? Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I remember those guys. They kind of came out in like 92, 93.
Yeah.
I remember they had a bit of a push over here in the UK with that first album. Tie-Dyed Skies and Under the Influence. Yeah, and they were cool because I remember at the time it was when everything was kind of winding down with that kind of music, and it was almost like the last gasp of that kind of stuff.
I know.
And they were kind of very Skid Row sounding, and I think they came over. They did. They toured over here, I think, around that time. I can't remember who they were opening for, but they definitely toured with somebody. But I'd love that album. That album's great.
Oh, it was very good. They have a new album coming out, actually.
Oh, no way! I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and they have a version of Triumph's Spellbound
Okay.
that they've done a cover of. I think it's available on YouTube. But it's good, yeah. So they came on the show probably about 6 months ago. I had Dave Wanless and Dan Varga, the drummer, on the show. Great guys. And they were like, and now they're gearing up for a new album. I believe Andy Kern. Are you familiar with Andy Kern?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he might have produced it.
Oh, cool. Because he had, I was actually listening to some of his stuff the other day on, he had his solo album from
License to Love?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, great. Isn't that a great album?
I'd never heard of him before. I just...
Oh, no?
Yeah, I kind of like stumbled across him on YouTube, and I was kind of like, oh, this is really cool. You know?
Yeah, that did very well here. He won a Juno. He did very well. He's a super nice guy. Really down to earth, really awesome guy. I've had him on a couple times and really love Andy and always loved his music. I mean, he was in a band called Coney Hatch.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah. So, and you're familiar with that.
Yeah,
so.
I did a bit of research because I was I can't remember the name of the song. I guess it just come up from what I've been watching. It was the No Tattoos. Is that the song? Something like that.
Yeah, No Tattoos.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I kind of like found his album. And I was like, this is great. But I wasn't aware who he was until I Googled him. And then I was like, okay, now this makes sense. So, that's sort of like a new discovery for me in the last sort of like month or so.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear. I'm sure he would be happy to hear that because, you know, he's talking about, well, during COVID was the 30th anniversary of that first album. And he was telling me that he wants to go play some gigs playing that album, the whole album.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which would be fantastic. So.
That would be great. Yeah.
So here's a scenario, and this isn't a real scenario, but I'm sure you recall after Dog Eat Dog that Janie Lane left Warrant to pursue a solo career, but came back. My understanding, right from Roxy Blue Singer, right from his mouth, Todd Poole, he was working with the band in the time that Janie was away. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine what that would have sounded like. I mean, no disrespect to Todd because he's a great songwriter, but I mean, there's only one Janie Lane too. So apparently Todd told me that there was music released in Japan. I've never come across it, but I would love to hear it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I love Roxy Blue. I absolutely, that was kind of like one of the last albums from that era, wasn't it?
I know.
92
yeah, and you have it on vinyl.
Yeah, I do. You know, I remember that was kind of like in 92. It was that Roxy Blue and Wylde Side were my two sort of go-to albums.
Yeah. I know exactly.
And
exactly, I'm so envious that you have that on vinyl because it's expensive. Like you're looking at $300-$400 for it now.
No way.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Like you might want to put that in a safe.
Wow. Yeah, I'll take a picture for you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I know Todd has one. He has one too. He says he's hardly ever played it.
Yeah.
He puts it on occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, I probably haven't played it like on vinyl for a long time, but yeah, I mean, I think Todd probably would have done quite a good job of doing the.
I think so. I think so too.
Like I said, again, there's only one Janie Lane, but I think I mean, he was such a talent, but I think. Replacing Sebastian was one thing. Replacing Janie's, it still would have been a tough thing. But I think if they'd have searched long enough, they probably could have found someone to obviously not for the songwriting, but to sing the songs. You know what I mean? I think Todd would have done a really good job of doing the Warrant.
I think so too. I think he would have done a great job because he is full of energy too.
Yeah, and another guy who would have been great singing for Warrant would have been Jesse from South Gang.
Oh yes, for sure, absolutely, Jesse Hart. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he would have nailed the Warrant stuff. He had that range, and he would have, he'd have been to me, back then, if I'd have been like, Jerry Dixon or whatever, he would have been sort of like, between Todd Poole or Jesse Hart. Those would be the two guys I would have been calling up, So
yeah, and I think at that time South Gang was done, and Butch. I think Butch was carrying the torch of doing Floyd's Funk Revival by that point.
Right, yeah, and Jesse probably wasn't doing anything, and he was. He had such a great voice. He was.
Oh, did he ever, man? He was so good.
He was a great singer. Yeah.
And I mean, those two South Gang albums I really enjoyed. I liked the first one, I think, more than the second, because it was more the melodic music, right? Like they went a little bit heavier on the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I was all about the Tainted Angel album, definitely.
Great song. Shoot Me Down, is that one of the songs?
That's the one. Russian Roulette and Aim for the Heart.
Yeah, Aim for the Heart. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that tonight now.
There you go.
That's a great album. Now here's, before I let you go, we got one more interesting take. I'm not sure if you were a fan. Were you a fan of Dokken at all?
I was I wasn't the biggest fan. I mean, I had all the albums, but I wasn't like the biggest fan.
Okay. I had a feeling that you may not have been. So.
Yeah, I think for me they weren't sort of commercial enough.
Right.
They, they weren't kind of hooky enough for me. But I mean, I had. Don't get me wrong, I had all the albums. Yeah. I'm very much aware of them, and obviously George Lynch is incredible guitar player. I mean, he was the star of the band. But no, I wasn't the biggest Dokken fan.
Okay. Well, this is my interesting take, and I don't know if you saw this on Facebook, but I proposed it on Facebook a few weeks ago. I said, had Dokken not broken up, if you took the best songs from Wicked Sensation, the Lynch Mob album, and Don Dokken's Up From the Ashes solo album, and then took Walk Away, Beast from the East Never Existed, and then you put all that together, maybe that would have been the best Dokken release ever. And I actually did a track listings of the songs that I thought would be cool, you know what? And it's kind of like one of those real geek moments, but I was just like, imagine if they had never broken up, you know what I mean? And it's like, holy shit. And then there's a guy, Todd Long is his name. He played with, what's that band? The Verve Pipe.
Right.
But he's a big 80s guy. He's in Ghosts of Sunset, the band's called.
Okay.
And he commented, and he goes, that is like the best album I've ever, like that would be the ultimate album. And he goes, I'm going to go put that on my playlist and I'm going to listen to it.
Oh, that's awesome. But you're bang on, because I mean, I loved the first Lynch Mob album.
Oh, me too.
Wicked Sensation. I absolutely loved it. And I really, really liked the Don Dokken solo album,
me too.
Way more than the Dokken albums. So that really would have been a great album.
So
I probably would have been a massive fan of them if that had been the case.
I think so too, because it's just like, it's funny because they separated and those two seem to have gotten better all of a sudden. It's like, what the hell happened? And so the track listing, I believe I had Wicked Sensation first, River of Love, and then When Some Nights, and then Walk Away were the first 4 tracks. And then on side 2, I had Mirror, Mirror, and then No Bed of Roses. And the guy goes, Todd Long says, he goes, just for those 2 songs together, this is the ultimate album.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll never know, but it was fun to think about that scenario. It's like, wow, if that had never happened, geez, imagine what that band could have been.
You should have been the head of Elektra, Tyson.
Yeah, maybe I should
get that happening. Ditch the Dokken stuff. Let's get this album going.
That's right. Let's get this going. We'll be an A&R guy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I'd probably get fired in the first week, because I'd walk in and go, you know what? You guys got to get rid of all these bands. They suck. You got to sign new hair bands. Hey, there's this band. This band from Europe called Midnite City. You got to sign them first.
Yeah, exactly, mate. You've got it.
Well, man, it's always a pleasure, and I thank you so much. It was a lot of fun, and of course, I'm sure we will do it again. Because there's always hair metal questions to be answered. So,
you've got it, mate. Yeah, well, thanks as always, mate. It's always great to talk to you. Thanks for having me back on your show, dude. It's been great.
Anytime, man. And you have enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, bud.
Okay,
all right. Take care, buddy.
Take care, man. Bye.
Bye. When you